The Elias Pettersson saga just got so much worse as Rick Tocchet gives criticizing advice on the superstar's poor play this season, which aren't aided by Petey's recent uproarious press quotes. And the real Pettersson problem isn't what you'd expect, as we're going to take a deeper look into what's really the problem this season. We're going to be breaking down all of that in this episode of Canucks Digest. So first, make sure to hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon so you don't miss any updates surrounding the Canucks as we head through the end of this road trip. And with that, let's hop into the first topic of the day, which is Tocchet and others speak out on Pettersson. So the first one we're going to cover here is Rick Tocchet talking about his frustrations with Elias Pettersson and his game this season, particularly in the past few games. We've talked about how he has to move his feet. That was something from last year, and can't double clutch with the puck. I think he's waiting for something. I don't know if it's a lack of confidence in his shot, but as soon as he has room, he's got to take it and just got to blast it. I'd rather him just rip a puck right now. He's not moving his feet. I thought today some shifts he was moving his feet and it looked like he had some glimpses, but 6-on-5 there at the end, it's the same thing, waiting. If he just takes 3 or 4 strides, I don't know if it's a mental block right now all year, but he's got to move his feet. And this is nothing new that we've heard from Tocchet. Even last season during the playoffs, when they were asking Tocchet about what struggles he sees with Pettersson's game and how he can improve or what is the main problem, he said it from the start. He's not moving his feet. He's staying static. He's not creating himself opportunities. And he's not getting open for other guys to feed him opportunities. And we're seeing that on full display this season. Pettersson really has kind of been a statue on the ice. Last night he had a breakaway. Unfortunately, did not go the right way, and that's also part of what Tocchet's saying too. He's double clutching the puck. He's not just ripping it at the first instinct of the chance that he has. I don't know if there was something that happened during the injury or something that happened mentally where he doesn't trust his shot like Tocchet's saying, but it seems like that is the case. He's not shooting it when he has the chance to. Pettersson used to have, or does have, I should say, even when he does snipe it this season, he is sniping it very well when he does score. It's been a while since he's scored, but when he fires it, he can fire it. And he usually has one of the best shots in the NHL. So him on a breakaway like that, he should have buried that no problem. There's other chances this season too, where as soon as he got it, he should have just fired that puck right away. And we're going to get into that in a bit later on in this episode. But when Tocchet is coming out and saying things like this, something has got to give. Something has to change, because this isn't the first time Tocchet's talked about it, about him moving his feet. And now he's talking about him trusting his shot, which is something that he really needs to get his own trust back in as well for Pettersson. And as well, this isn't really going to be helped by what Pettersson was saying in the media after the game, but the media was asking him about how annoying it is for him to be playing at such a frustrating level or things not really going. But he did say it's more annoying than dealing with the media. And we know Pettersson has had his different, not spats or spouts with the media, but we know his relationship with the media has been a very interesting one as far as how he addresses the media, how he carries himself in interviews, what he's like. He had that media availability last season where he just took on a firing squad of questions and he faced the music pretty well for the most part. But this season has been a bit more resistant with the media, particularly with the JT Miller situation. He was very hush-hush about that, just giving him the bare bones and not giving him much to run with. But when he comes out and says something like this, the reporters are definitely going to run with it. And one reporter who was definitely running with it and appalled by it was Thomas Drance, talking on the Halford and Bro podcast, saying, truth is, you're either going to provide us with the ability to tell your story, or if you're going to answer with a question like Pettersson did, you're going to give us an opportunity to say what we think, right? Like, that's it. Generally speaking, players are best served by just being as honest and polite as possible. It's a 5-minute interview. It's not a huge part of your day. Putting media in a position to tell your story as best as they can, and Pettersson refused to do that last night, and he's refused to do that on multiple instances this season, and as a result, we don't have any idea what's actually going on in terms of his game. I just don't get it. I don't think that's the way champions carry themselves in the media. And Thomas Drance is firing some shots here at Pettersson. I know you guys in the comments are probably going to be firing your own shots as well on your own opinions on this, because it's been very polarizing this season with Pettersson, where people don't know what to make of his comments. So they take it and they run with it in any instances they can. We've definitely done that a few times on the show, but not to the extent that some reporters, Elliot Friedman, other guys as well, that have gone where they've just spouted off nonsense about it. We've been trying to look at where the real problem could be with Pettersson, and that's something that we're going to dive into here in a second. But as far as Pettersson talking to the media like this, I can see where Thomas Drance is frustrated, where if they're not giving him much to go on, they're going to run with something, or they're not going to portray it in necessarily the best light because of how it was given to them. However, this is just coming off of a loss where Pettersson had a breakaway chance that he didn't capitalize on. He sent it over the net. So I could see him being a little emotional after the game like that. But at the end of the day, you still do have to address the media in a certain way. I know that there's not entirely a way that you have to do it. You don't necessarily have to dance for the reporters in a way, but you can still give them a certain kind of answer, especially in a season where they have come after you very relentlessly and have run with insane stories, or have said some things about you that you want to maybe set the record straight on, or maybe just playing cards close to the chest is not revealing too much. However, I do think in this instance, Pettersson definitely needed to step up and say something more to the media for them to go with. And as well as it's not necessarily explaining himself. It does feel bad to say that he needs to come out and explain what's going on as if he needs to give an explanation to anybody. But with the way that the public is with this team, with the media surrounding it, social media as well, and just with the way that sports are in general, you're a public figure at that point. So you do have a responsibility to address certain things without being too revealing. You can still give a little bit here and there and withhold some things, but you gotta give something. And hopefully at some point something will happen with Pettersson, whether it's him just finding his game again and just clicking, or addressing what's really going on. But what do you guys think down in the comments? Let us know what you guys think of this whole Pettersson situation. But that's going to take us into our second topic of the day, which is the real Pettersson problem. So Pettersson is currently on pace for his lowest shot total since the 2021 season, when he had only 63 in 26 games, and his lowest when playing more than 65 games since his rookie campaign in 2018-2019, where he tallied 144. So, like Tocchet was saying, his shot is not there this season. He hasn't been able to get it going. But the one thing that has dropped off with Pettersson's game that we're going to look at here, one-timers. Like I said, Pettersson is one of the best shots in the NHL. When he's clicking, maybe the best shot next to the top 3 guys, 5 guys maybe. But when looking at what makes him effective, the one-timers, look at the numbers speaking for themselves, where he had 136 attempts 2 years ago, 88 last season, and that has dropped down to only 30 this season, with 58 of them getting on net 2 seasons ago, 43 last season, and only 12 this season. So just under half of them are hitting on net. So Pettersson, again, in 51 games, only that many one-timer attempts. Doesn't really bode well for his pace as far as one-timers last season or even 2 seasons ago. That is an insane far cry away from what he did 2 seasons ago, where he did put up over 100 points. He got close to 100 points last season, but one-timers was definitely a way of doing that because his shot is so quick. He can get it off so fast where teams don't even know it's coming, but he has to have that faith in his one-timer and to be able to do that. He can't just double clutch it. He can't wait. He can't stay as a statue. He's got to move his feet through the zone so he can get set up in the slot to get a one-timer like that. We saw Connor McDavid do it. I know Connor McDavid, many people say he is the best in the world. And he proved that on last Thursday night with his one-timer goal to seal the game winner against USA. Now, Pettersson, when he has that one-timer going, it can be on that level where it doesn't matter where he's at on the ice. He can find the back of the net. We've seen him been able to do it. He has that crazy shot where he is able to get it through there. And whether it's through traffic, whether it's on the short side, whether it's just on a breakaway, we've seen Pettersson been able to just fire it home so many times over the years, where something this season has really dropped off, and one-timers definitely seem to be a big reason of that. Maybe it's a lack of offense as well on the Canucks side, where he hasn't had as many opportunities to get one-timers, but as we've seen in the games where he is getting opportunities, he's not getting a lack of opportunities or a lack of passes thrown his way. He's still throwing passes and getting opportunities made for other guys, but he's having to pass it away almost because his own opportunities were squandered because he was waiting too long, because he wasn't moving his feet, and he has to get it away for another guy to, it's great if another guy gets the goal, but if you're giving it away and another guy can't create an opportunity, then you have a completely lost possession and you have nowhere to go from there other than just reset, try and get something going again, reset the play and find a different formation that works. So with Pettersson, this is something that we're going to have to monitor, and I think it's something that's been interesting and no one's been talking about up until this point, where Pettersson's shot, that's one thing. Him moving his feet, that's one thing. But the one-timers, that's something that goes hand in hand with his shot as well, where he's not trusting his shot, he's not trusting his one-timers, and his one-timers was something that made him so lethal last season and 2 seasons ago, and it's dropped off significantly this season. But what do you guys think about this very particular stat when it comes to Pettersson's game? Do you think this is the problem with him? I know you guys are going to jump to your own conclusion as far as what you think the problem is, and I know it's definitely not that. You guys will probably jump to what you think about your heart being very far from your knee as one thing that some people have been saying in the comment. But I think this is something that with Pettersson's game that definitely needs to be focused on. I think we need to look at a little bit further when we're looking at why his game is struggling this season. One-timers is definitely a big result of that. But let us know down in the comments what you guys think on the Elias Pettersson situation. I know you guys want us to trade him and move on from him, But at the end of the day, that is a massive contract for a team to take on. And unless it's Columbus or Buffalo, I don't see any other team fully taking on that contract. So we're going to be fitting the bill at some point for this Pettersson stuff in some respect, no matter who we trade him with, unless it's those two teams because they have the space to do it. But even then, we might still be retaining somewhat of it. So if we're going to be footing the bill for this, we might as well use him so we can't just completely lose him for nothing and have him score for other teams on our payroll. We don't want another OEL situation even worse. So I understand the frustration with it, but hopefully at some point he can turn it around. I'm not saying that he will turn around at some point this season. I've been saying it at multiple points this season and he hasn't been able to do it. But hopefully the old Petey will be able to come out and play for this Canucks team once again and just turn everyone's opinions around. But what do you guys think down in the comments? Let us know. Give a like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell icon so you don't miss the new updates when they drop. Mark or myself or both of us will be back with another episode very soon. So stay tuned for that. But with that, I've been your host, Griffin. Take care.